morning, everyone. Welcome to BARAF Talk session. For the past few weeks, we've been talking about mental health, and today we are looking into the topic called addiction. With me, I have a public health officer,
Maimuna Salihu,
and a professional social worker and mental health consultant,
Mildred Falaye.
Whenever we hear the word addiction, many a time we don't even know the meaning. We think addiction is just drug addiction. When you use illegal substance, that's the only time addiction comes to play. But we have professionals in our midst that are going to help us in dissecting and bisecting the meaning of addiction. What do you think addiction is?
addiction is not having control of how you use, take, or do something to the point that it becomes harmful to your health. So like maybe it can't be just drugs.
Yeah.
Anything, even behavioral aspects. So far it starts affecting your health negatively. It becomes an addiction.
Yeah. What do you think about?
Yes, like she said, addiction has to do with not being able to control whatever you do. It doesn't really restrict you to just taking.
Yes.
It goes to using. It goes to doing. And that's where we come to what types of addiction.
Yeah.
You know, and when we talk about type of addiction, there are a lot of addiction. Like you have sex addiction.
Yes.
You have food addiction.
Yeah.
You have game addiction.
Yes, game addiction.
You know what they call this? Is it gambling?
Gambling.
Gambling.
Yes,
You know,
gambling.
people get addicted to gambling. People get addicted to several.
Even video games.
Yes,
yes.
Addicted to video
So
games.
addiction actually come in different types. Okay, I know that because when we talk, like you said, when we talk about addiction, people just say, it's drug addiction and all that. Not knowing that there are other behavior, there are other things we take that when we get to a place where we know that it's harmful to us, but we can't control it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It becomes
An
a
addiction.
challenge.
So, from what you said, I picked something, and it's saying that there are two types of addiction. And you mentioned drug addiction, which is the substance use, and behavioral addiction, because I heard you say something about sex and food. So what would you, like to say about those things? Like, I want an in-depth information about the two types of addiction.
Okay, like I said before, there are two types, basic types of addiction. That is the chemical addiction and the behavioral addiction.
Yeah.
Now, all these other addictions fall into these two groups. Okay, for instance, the chemical addiction, you have the drug use without prescription or overdose, all those, and you can't even control being able to stop. Or everything that has to do with chemical that is taken, that you get addicted to alcohol and all that, all those things fall under the chemical.
Okay.
Then the behavioral is when you have harmful behavior, like having excessive sex.
Okay.
When I put excess, it's not addictive sex, that's having it without control. You can't even control yourself. For instance, you're in the office, you're working, and you just feel like having sex.
Yeah.
Now, in the chemical, like I said, the drug use, the intake of alcohol, without, not to say that all these things are actually bad, but when you can't have control over it, like Memuna said earlier on, if you cannot have control over it, if you can't say, no, I've eaten, I can't eat this food, because there's some people that are looking obese, but once you put food on the table, they are ready to eat that food. They could go and have exercise, but once they just come in, they still want to eat. It's harmful to them, they know, but they can't control it.
Okay, when you mention obese and the food addiction, I think not only obese people are addicted to food. I still feel like some people that still look normal, like you and I, can still be very much addicted to food. You see some people, they eat anything they see. They can even eat 8 times a day, and they are full, but then they can't stop eating.
You know, sometimes it also has to do with social problems. Sometimes when people are getting depressed, they have
yes.
a way of trying, like just like substance intake. It's an alibi. It's a way of trying to feel that those things will help them or suppress the pain they are feeling, or the thoughts, or whatever they are going through, the challenge they are going through. For instance, for somebody, drug use is a way of getting out of a challenged situation. While for another person, eating is a way. That's why I see some people, they just eat. It's not as if they are hungry. They just feel that when they eat, they will sleep.
Okay.
Okay, so they feel that when they take that, whatever maybe they were thinking of, or a challenge, they will actually get over it, just like the drugs. But once you keep using it, you get used to it. There's something there in the brain.
That's what I was about to say. Like a chemical that is released called dopamine. So at this point, when this chemical is released, there's a reinforcement in the brain that will just connect you to that feeling of wanting it again in another time.
Oh.
So the fact that you're addicted, you want it again, you want it on and on and on, whether it's not healthy.
And it seems like there is no satisfaction.
Yes, or like the way, I know we'll get to that point, the way you feel like, okay, at this certain point, every day by 5 I'm to take so, or I'm to do so. No, irrespective of where you are, you must do it. So that's that chemical is already used to it. Like you're already used to it. You just have to be doing it on and on.
Okay.
Wow,
that's very interesting and elaborate. Thank you so much for talking deep, like, and helping us to get an idea on the 2 types of addiction. So now we see that we don't just have drug addiction. We also have behavioral addiction, chemical or behavioral addiction. So what will you say are causes or can be the cause to addiction?
Society, mental. Generally, let's just look. If you look at the environment, there are different causes of addiction, because you can see something from maybe the society not accepting you for who you are can lead to depression. From depression, the person wants to feel better and say, okay, let me take this so drug, let me try this today, and I feel this certain high.
Yeah.
They'll feel among and decide to do it. Or peer pressure, for example. I'm with these certain friends, they smoke, or I'm with these certain friends, they do this behavior.
Yeah.
I'm not used to it, but because I'm with them, I want to feel among. Once I'm in it, okay, that's fine. They're accepting me for that. I just get in it. Before you know, I can't get off.
Yeah.
Or before you know, I just need to do it at a certain time.
Oh, wow.
So there are different causes of of addiction in general.
Do you think I met someone and she was addicted to, she had a behavioral addiction.
Okay.
So when I started talking to her, she told me that her addiction was caused by grief.
Mm-hmm.
So can grief also lead to an addiction? Because I also found out that she was always isolating herself, and I feel like addiction is when there is no balance, when something overwhelms you and
you're trying to just suppress your emotion and everything. You know, your head, a lot is going on. You just want it quiet.
Exactly.
The grief is too much. They just want to feel numb and feel better. Or they can't express themselves how they feel to someone else. They just want it gone. They decide to take or use some certain things.
So yes, like what she said, it starts from, like what she said, low self-esteem, social gathering. Sometimes you maybe in the house you feel that other ones are looking fine, or my mommy loves this one, my dad loves me, I'm just in the middle. I know I used to feel that way too. I think I'm not as fine as them. So you now start feeling low self-esteem. So when it takes you outside, so when you're in the class or when you're in front of it, you feel I'm not loved, or I'm not like others. So you want to take something that will make you feel comfortable, have that confidence. So you just take it once, and when you take it once, let's say substance now, you take the drug once, and you're okay that day. Then you say, it gave you a kind of the feeling you want. Then tomorrow again you take it gives you the feeling you want. The time you take it gives you a feeling. You no longer, that you're in control. Okay. That's why we say that addiction is a boss that doesn't give you instruction and want to hear excuse. Wow. Okay, so for instance, you've taken it 3 times now, you're in charge. Now it gets to a time where the level you take, you just feel, I'm not getting that feeling again. I think I have to increase. Then you not increase. Then you reach a place where you don't dictate with time, you have to take it now, because you have to take so many times to be able to have that feeling you're having. So you now start taking it. Then the addiction now becomes in charge. Now, even when you don't have money, it doesn't want to know whether you have money or not. Exactly. When addiction comes, even if your book is here or your Bible, you want to sell the book, no matter how important that thing is, you sell it cheaper, because some people say, this book, how much is it? 100,000. No, I have only 10 naira. I say take it, because the cravings. You will start becoming strong. You are no longer in control.
Yeah.
So that's how strong addiction can be. It starts by just okay. I had a friend that was working somewhere with me when we were young. So when we were going out, we saw these boys in one place, around that place. They look like bad boys. Then we thought, how will we pass these boys? We said, passing these boys, they can rape us, because we heard that they rape people there.
Yeah.
So she suggested, let's just see this person selling cigarettes. Let's just hold cigarettes and make it look as if we're smoking. And actually, we bought those cigarettes. Okay, so we just held it, and we just held it like that. When they arrested, they were passed, not knowing that after that, probably she was doing it often and often till she got so addicted to it, and it gave her issues in life in the future. But how did we start it? It wasn't because we desired to take it. It wasn't because she desired to take it. It was like a way of escape, like you said, because of a situation that we are afraid of.
Yes.
So it's always most times a situation you are afraid of. Low esteem, what would they think about me?
Yeah.
During marriage, some people take even alcohol to be able to say their marriage vows, to be able to talk in the front of a crowd, to be able to make presentations, to be able to discuss with friends. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So all those things are part of what can actually lead you to addiction.
Wow, that's a lot. So most times with what you've said, I'm understanding that people don't even want to be addicted to these things. They just find themselves
They find
in this
themselves.
situation.
They find themselves in the situation, and sometimes when you don't have someone you can talk to, it becomes something else, because you're afraid, if I tell this person, the person will be judging me. The person will want to know why I actually. Okay, for instance, now a girl that started that got into addiction because of the situation I just told you now.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to understand that there was a time she was afraid of being raped, so she had to look like that bad girl so that they won't look at
get
to get over it. And the thing led her to addiction. There's someone that maybe, like you talked about, lost grief. Maybe he lost a wife, like in the psychiatric unit there in Nigeria. Someone lost his wife, and he started drinking so much that he got so addicted to the drink.
Yeah.
But nobody, if you don't get someone that will discuss with you, how will people know? They'll just say, this person is drunkard. And if you actually talk to them, once this person is drunkard, without even trying to know, why is this person into addiction?
Yes.
Okay, and that's why we have to keep asking in the society now, not just judging. Why is this person into this? A lot of social problems now.
If you ask me, I think as human beings, we all have experienced addiction in one form.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, at this point, we should be able to know when we are going to that point, because, as we say now, there's something called habits. Habit is a routine behavior. Okay, I go to the gym every time. I need to feel fit. Okay, I check the calories and some certain things I take. Exactly. Or, oh my God, I feel low today. Let me drink one bottle of Coke.
Like me,
Exactly. So to you, you're just. Is it to stop it? I can stop it.
Yeah,
it's
no problem. Just minimal.
But you would know that the day you can't, the day you don't, you feel off. You feel a certain way. That's the thin line already leading to addiction.
Yeah.
So once you have your habits, it's always advisable. Be careful with it, so that it won't become harmful to you. Exercise, yes, is good, but at the point, it's unhealthy.
Too much.
Like when you
don't have rest and don't know when to stop.
Or okay, let's use work. You are going to work now. Yes, you go to work to earn a living. You are making the money, but when you are addicted to staying in the office 24/7, you don't eat, you don't do different things.
Even when you go home, you continue till night.
Yes, it will affect your relationship with your partner, with your friends, and everyone around you. Then it becomes another issue entirely. So that's why I'm like, once you start a habit, just be very careful. Yes, watch it. Yes, and know when that line is being exhausted.
So, having spoken about, the causes of addiction, we would like to look at the effects. Are there positive effects? Are there negative effects? We don't know. So I would like you to throw more light on the effects of addiction.
Like we said before, addiction, when it becomes an addiction, it affects. It's harmful.
Yes,
it's harmful. It's something you can control, even when you know that is harmful. You were asking the other time that when do you get to know when you are addicted? So it's harmful. So the effect is that, especially for instance, the types we talked about, like marriage, for instance, if we are sex addicted, it will affect people become unfaithful. It means that you sleep with your secretary, you sleep with your cleaner, you sleep with anybody you see, because once the craving comes, you just have to answer the craving. It also makes you to steal.
Yeah, bad behavior.
Do you understand? And that's why you see some people, when they have someone in the house that get into substance abuse, at a point, once they are no longer getting money from their parents or their wives or whoever they're staying with, things start getting missing in the house. Maybe sometimes if you just come, you see your shoes again. You think a dog has come to carry to play. You know they're going to sell it. Your laptop will start getting missing. Your phones will start getting missing. And the worst about it is that it's sold at a price that when you hear, you just, you laugh about it. Very cheap. But it's not their fault. It's what the craving does to them. So these effects are everywhere. In school, they start missing classes.
Yeah.
And that's why you see someone that is in university and they'll say, okay, it doesn't have results. They say, did my son not go to school? Because once that craving comes and they take it, makes them, maybe they sleep or they are not able to meet up with lectures, they fear and all that.
Uninterested.
They can even become aggressive. You can see situations where they call parents to schools. Well, a behavior your son or daughter has never done, she's doing it. Maybe she's fighting. You guys stealing, as you said. So there'll just be some characters that will come into play and be like, no, this is not my child.
You see someone
this
that doesn't.
this is something I've never heard of. So when all those situations come in, I think that's where the guardians or the parents should now step back and have a listening ear. Because in this situation, you see a lot of us, we just want to beat the child or scold the child,
or send the child out of the house,
lock the child out. The child came late, you now still want to lock the child out again to go back to wherever he or she
in secondary school. I'm sorry to cut you short. I think you actually said something that was very remarkable, and I just wanted to highlight it. When I was in secondary school, I think there are some measures the school took that I felt or I feel were inappropriate. I feel like a school is where children are being molded, apart from molding them from home. Yes. So whenever the school noticed that some children had a particular behavior or addiction, instead of the school to call them to order, they would either expel them or disgrace them or make it worse, thereby reducing their esteem and now making them go back to the same thing that they are complaining about. So
but I wanted to ask, is it possible for someone to get addicted to beating?
To beating? There are cases
you'll
see some that they don't.
When you flog them, you have to flog them before they this girl they are married now.
Enjoy it.
Yes, they enjoy it.
Wow.
I have a friend that's married now. She says anytime she's not beaten, she doesn't feel she's loved. So right from relationship, the person that wanted to marry have been beating her to marriage, she's still beating another. But do you know, like you said, the effect is that she can die one day, but she's still enjoying it. She's enjoying it. Somehow it's harmful, but because of that craving, it's there.
Wow.
Do you understand? So it can be really like food. It can be really
toxic.
Do you know when you go to someone's house and you're hungry, for instance, and they're not giving you, and the food addiction, they craving, just like, what will you do? You have to start looking for the kitchen, the person's kitchen. When the person, or maybe you just see a plate of food came for somebody. When the craving just comes, you just eat, because you feel like eating and you must answer to that food craving.
Then another effect too can also, as you said, the health generally, like smoking. In the long run, you see lung cancer. You see stomach cancer, different
even HIV.
Yes, for the sexual aspect now, they just tend to sleep around, irrespective of the STDs. They don't care. So
poison
now becomes. It brings a lot of health issues to the person. Yes, that is addicted to whatever it is. So there are different effects.
Even child abuse. If I imagine having like a 3-year-old or 4-year-old, that's why you see some people, they say, are they using the children for ritual purposes that make them go to sleep with a 3 or 4? Sometimes it's addiction. When you have a child that is 3 years or 4 years and your sex addiction comes, the craving comes, what will you do? You forget that is a child. All you want to do is to satisfy, and because that's what the king addiction says. Once that king addiction says, I want sex, because you're addicted to sex, whether it's a small child, whether it's your house help, whether the person you're with protection, or not.
And they are old enough to know the risk. They know the
They
consequences.
know.
They know, okay, if I get caught, this is what's going to happen.
But the
Or
brain-
I'm going to steal. I know I might go to jail, or this. It's not their problem.
They don't even think of the consequences.
They don't think, because I
they
told you
just-
something. I said the brain has a way, the molecular way of working. Sometimes you don't control the several
Yes.
things in the brain. So once that part comes, it's not something you can. All you be thinking of just the crave. Answer me, answer me, answer me. So whether you be locked after then is not the business of king addiction.
Yeah.
Or I want sex, I want food, I want that substance now.
you
So you just
have
be
to
looking for something to sell. But I don't have money. How do I do? You have to look for how to steal. But there's no child. My wife is not here. You have to look for whether it's your house help or anybody to say. But I don't have food. Whether it's your neighbor that is cooking outside, she's not around. You just open the pot, steal something. So it makes you start having issues with people.
From what you're saying now, because most times, we live in Africa and in Nigeria, we are very superstitious. So sometimes we believe that these behaviors are spiritual.
Yeah.
They would say the person is possessed or has a spiritual whatever going on with them. But now from what you're saying that this is a psychological effect.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with spirits.
Well, we know we're not discussing spirit per se, but like what you said,
Yeah.
it is mostly psychological. For instance, you just see a child that just steals food anywhere. Sometimes you could think it's spiritual. Even the mother would be like, I don't know why my child, they call him sick because he steals food. But not knowing that the child is addicted to food.
Okay.
I think that's where what I said came in. You think when this kind of situation comes, you okay, what is the root cause of this? You have to now go back and think, what is this? How do you think is the way forward? If you start putting blame games or start scolding the child unnecessarily, you're not solving the issue.
Yeah.
You're just taking care of it at that moment. What of next time? Or what was the cause? Or what drove the child to that character, that behavior at that point?
yeah.
And do you know it can cause suicide?
Mhm.
For instance, when you a child gets involved, not even a child, anybody that is into a substance abuse, you reach where you no longer get that satisfaction, even when you are addicted to it. And when you get there, so the low self-esteem you were running away from starts coming back in full.
Wow.
And that's why you see people jump, they'll say somebody jump from a big upstairs to a river, or you go to the well, and if you jump in, killing yourself is just the way to end up everything. Because that thing you're running away from, you can no longer get whatever suppresses it.
I think it's a very bad thing. I feel like the struggle with their mind is a battlefield of the mind,
honestly,
where they are trying to stop, but they can't stop. And it's paining them, it's hurting them.
It's hurting them, and
So
the society where they find themselves
it's judging them. So
Can't
the way to
express
end
themselves,
it
yeah.
is to, but that's not the way to end it, please. If you're having an addiction, we are going to talk about ways that you can recover from an addiction. So over to you, Miss Memuna. What do you think are ways that one can recover from an addiction to avoid this negative effects, including suicide?
Okay, first of all, to even get to that point of addiction, as we advised, once you have a habit, it's always better to do things in moderation. Make sure that thin line into addiction is not met, please. Then when you eventually reach there, you know you're addicted, but you can't help it. Now you're not the one in control.
Yeah.
Yes. So at that point, if someone else comes to tell you about this addiction, yes, the addicted person can be aggressive, but it's always better to at least approach the person calmly, discuss the issue, especially when they're level-headed. There are points in the day that they are okay. You just, okay, I think I've noticed this. Let me use our caffeine, for example.
Yeah.
Like, usually you don't do this, but now I noticed this. What do you think is the cause of this? Because you're overworking, you just need energy at this certain point. They're like, okay, so you need to be welcoming when someone tells you about all this. Then from there, you go into to seek professional help.
Yeah.
So we can explain that more.
Yes, like you said, first of all, get to know when you can no longer help yourself.
Yeah.
So you need to talk to someone. Okay, talking to someone is very, very important at that point. Yes, I remember I was talking to a client one time. He said, I don't like discussing with this particular person because I know he will judge me.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's why I see when people want to die, they will not look for how to go and hang themselves in the marketplace. They look for a secret room and tie themselves and hang because they don't want someone that will judge them and all that. So first of all, try to discuss with someone. Then you that also want to help the person, you have to also be careful, because addiction is not something you just get into or you become a victim.
Exactly, that's true.
For instance, you want to help someone that is into a sex addiction. What if when you are discussing with the person, because you're not maybe if you're not a professional, you don't know their timings, because it might not be their doctors and you've not done researches to know. The addiction comes that time. While you're talking to the person, they will tear your clothes and you become a victim. Now, apart from sex addiction, drug addiction, you want to talk to someone that is in drug, the person can beat you up.
Yeah.
Also, okay. So in helping that person, most times, like she said, try to watch out for the mood and do it in an open place.
Yeah, in an open place, so you
Do
can
it
be safe.
yes, do it in an open place. Don't try to say no. Even if it's your sister, addiction doesn't know sister.
Yeah.
They can have sex with you, because what addiction, let's call it king addiction, what they know is answer me now. So it doesn't matter who the person is. So try to do it in an open place. Try to, if you know you can't do it alone, talk to one or two persons before coming to the person. Two of you can come, even though some people feel, if are discussing about me, that's why both of you try to understand that also before you take that. Then when you know that I'm taking this in too much, maybe let me talk to someone, maybe even if you don't know a professional person, is there somewhere I can get professional help? Irrespective of the fact that you know that so many people can judge you, try to believe that someone will understand you.
Yes.
Do you understand? And speak up.
Speak up.
And don't always believe that suicide is the end.
It's the end.
Okay, I don't know, I'm not a pastor or an imam, but they say heaven and hell. So if, for instance, that is true, it means that when you kill yourself or commit suicide, you end up in hell and continue another pain somewhere. So try to know that suicide is not what could end whatever you are addicted to. And try to have confidence in yourself, even not even going to addiction. Like I said before, the girl that someone wanted to get married to and say you have to lose weight. You want to get married to me and you feel my weight is not okay, look for someone else. I love myself like this. It's different that individually you find out that, like I'm getting fat, I need to watch my weight. It's different. But not someone come tell you, no, you talk like a woman. Start talking like a man. So you feel you have to take drugs to be able to talk like a man. So all those things, then seek professional help. For instance, one of the professional help you can do if you're into substance addiction is, once the craving comes, take water.
Okay.
First. Second, look for a distractive activity. For instance, if you like playing football or basketball, cravings doesn't stay too long ago. If you can hold yourself in less than 40 minutes to go, it will come back, but it will go. So at that point, once the craving comes, just try to do an activity you love doing. You see, before the activity, the craving will go. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Then talking to someone also, maybe because a family friend, that space of craving can disappear. You can use that to suppress the time of craving.
So would you say, in terms of relapse, some people, they go to rehab because of they are addicted to one thing or the other. In order to help them, they seek professional help by going to rehab. But then when they are done and they come out, they find themselves relapse.
That's where these NA meetings come in. They meet other people like them. When you see those kind of people, you tend to encourage yourselves. They have sponsors. That's someone who have gone through this and is at a point that they know, okay, yes, they can be, they might have a mood, they might have a time they want to relapse, but they are stronger than these ones that are just out. They tend to pair them together. So they'll see them through. Okay, I think you've seen all those things. They give awards 1 month, 3 months, just to encourage them. So it's always good to have a community like that. Once they are out, you start going for all those things. As you said, engage yourself, discuss with people. When you are in a point that you feel emotional, really sad about something, and it's leading you to that point, you start having that feeling, so that's where all these contacts come into play. You call them, you go for it. Once you discuss, you feel a lot better, and then you move on with life. So I think that's like very important. Yes.
Yeah. That rehab is also a very good way, but I have to be very sincere to you. About 60% of even these people that go into drug addiction, that in the rehab, about 60% of them still relapse. Like you said, and it has to do with several things. For instance, you can afford this house in Jikwe, and this is where you got your addiction, maybe friends around, then you have to, maybe after rehab, they'll tell you, okay, don't pass the same road you used to pass. Don't live the same area you used to live. How would you do if you don't have the finance to be able to take care of another house in Abu, or another house that will make you change environment, or you don't have a family that's understanding can make you change environment somewhere else? So by those times, those people come back, they still go back to that. When you have a family that maybe you still feel that don't love you, and you're coming back to the same family, because even no matter the section they do, you have this perception that is it the same family that this man makes me feel as if I'm a bad person, that makes me, you still go back to addiction because it's still. So most of those things are also reason why rehab, not that they don't work, they work very fine. That's what we call parole. Parole is what they give you. For instance, if you have 6 months to stay, when you stay for 2 or 3 months, they tell you go on parole. You stay on parole for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Then that parole is to see if you will get engaged in what brought you. If you are free to be discharged, that's what it's called parole. They allow you to take your time, go mix around. Then if you come back, without that addiction, they'll say, okay, maybe you're getting better, they can now discharge you. But if they parole you, if you go on parole and come back, you are still taking your drugs or eating whatever, then it means that you're still going to remain there. So rehab helps so much, like you said, but we should also tackle the main cause.
Yeah.
The environment, the family, the society, wherever the person is coming from. And that's why BARAF Foundation is not just concentrating on the client itself. They're trying to reach out to the world, people around that person, to understand that some of these people are not doing this because they want to do, but it's where they find themselves.
Oh yes, what you said is very, very important. Sometimes you just tackle the person that's addicted, and we forget about the root cause of this addiction, which can also lead to them relapsing after they've gone for rehab. So BARAF Foundation is here. We have a professional social worker and mental health consultants. We are free to answer your questions. So please like, share, comment, and our professionals are going to reach out to you on ways you can recover from an addiction or stop totally before you even get to the addiction stage, so you can be able to be aware of yourself, your surrounding environment, and people around you. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for being with us here. Thank you so much, Ms. Mildred. We really appreciate it. See you next time on BARAF Talk Session.